Hey, what's up, everybody? HR Famous, happy to be back. We're sponsored by HRU Tech. It's not HRU Technical Resources. It's HRU Tech. Tim Sackett's with us. Tim, my son, I know you do a lot of this work at HRU Tech. Tell us what's going on in the industry. My son just got a co-op offer from Mercedes. And I know you're working with all these people, vehicles. Mercedes is actually building their first electric car, kind of assembly line in Vance, Alabama. What's going on in the industry? I know you're involved with a lot of this.
Yeah, in fact, GM, Mary Burra, the CEO, came out and said they're going to have 25 all electric vehicles by 2025. I just saw data in February that because Tesla is the big whale in the industry, right? And they have 89% of the market share. Well, Ford came out with their Mustang E Mach, which was an all electric kind of Mustang hybrid-ish kind of vehicle.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, so Tesla in 1 month alone after Ford went live with that went from 89 to 69% of the market just with one vehicle, right? So we know there's giant transformation. I was on the phone with the head of TA at GM. They're looking to hire 8,000 new kinds of, engineering software types to because these cars are built from the ground up as electric vehicles, not Katie, the old electric vehicles that when we first got into automotive were, hey, we're going to take a car that's we're going to take a Toyota Camry and we're just going to gut it and throw an electric motor in it and think it's the same thing. And that's why Tesla was winning, because they didn't do that. They made an electric car from the ground up. And I think all of the big three, the big seven, however many car, giant global manufacturers are out there now, have figured that out. And we're going to see this huge kind of overall transformation. But it's not only that, the U.S. Postal Service has been mandated to replace every single postal vehicle with an all-electric vehicle as well. We see all these military vehicles like the Humvees, tanks. Everyone's trying to figure out how do they go electric. And so, Drew Dunn is in a great situation, and HRU Tech will be calling him with 1 million jobs upon graduation.
Real quick, Tim, what type of positions are coming in hard, on this transformation? What's HRU Tech talking to people about?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of it's embedded software engineering, but also just flat out electrical engineers. For so long in vehicle manufacturing, cars, heavy truck, anything, even subway cars, it was all about mechanical industrial engineers. And that has made the switch to electrical and computer really big.
All right, HRU Tech, whether your industry is undergoing radical transformation or if it's just kind of stale and you need great technical talent, HRU Tech is the place. Thank you, Tim Sackett. And thank you, HRU Tech. Cam, hit the music.
All right, everybody. Hey, it's HR Famous. We're back with another edition of the greatest podcast on the planet. And I'm with my friends, Kris, Dunn, and JLee. Gang, how's it going?
In the cold open, you guys were talking about EVs, electric vehicles. Yeah. And the only thing I could think about the whole time was I can't decipher what is real or fake on the internet sometimes. And there was this meme I saw about the Pinto coming back. And was that a joke or is that
I think
real?
That has to be a joke.
Is that a joke? I mean, it was this souped up looking Pinto, but it still had the wood paneling on the side. So I was just really confused by it.
We have a great, what makes the Pinto now viable, JLee? We have this great stat in one of our boss training programs that the positioning of the gas tank on the Pinto, which it blew up. The history, right, JLee? Yeah. It blew up on rear end crashes. And it's because of their cost constraints. They had to put the gas tank where it would blow up, upon a rear collision. So it's the perfect, my point, and there is one, is with no gas tank, it's the perfect time to bring back the Pinto.
It is.
It's one of the ugliest cars ever.
You're right. The Pinto. I can't believe it.
I feel like my sister's first car, JLee, was a brown, beat up as you know what, Pinto.
It had to be
back
brown.
in the day. My big sister is brown, right? Because brown was the color.
Your parents could afford it because it was basically a bomb. They were just giving them, they're like, hey, it's okay. You'll be fine.
The Pinto.
You're in Missouri. No one's going to rear engine Missouri.
You know somebody will buy that EV Pinto, JLee.
Oh, man, totally hip,
Oh,
retro,
God.
love it.
Like they'll be the
hipsters.
hottest car in Austin for the hipsters, like
That's
electric
right.
Pintos. So hey, we got a couple of topics today I want to talk about, and besides electric vehicles, I could talk about those all day. I'm in love with the Hummer EV edition 1 was insane. It came out like during the Super Bowl, but anyways. There's another thing that's in the marketplace that is driving waves, and we've been talking about it on text messaging way too much for this concept. But it's the chicken sandwich wars, KD, and I think people would know this from it's the Popeye chicken sandwich came out and was like, we are the best chicken sandwich ever. Again, those people who are lucky enough to have a Chick-fil-A by them know that's untrue. Because Chick-fil-A has, literally they've put crack cocaine in their sandwiches or something. Their sandwiches are great. But so here's the crazy stat, and then I'll let you guys tell me who's going to win the war on chicken sandwiches, because Burger King, McDonald's, everybody's in the war. Popeyes, like literally in 2019, early 2019, had 0% market share in the chicken sandwich wars. And came in recently at around 18%, which is a gigantic earth-shattering jump in the chicken sandwich wars. Again, Chick-fil-A still has a big part of that market share because they were the originator of the chicken sandwich. I'll start with you, KD. Who wins the war?
Well, I think Chick-fil-A wins the war because even if their market share goes down, if their market share goes down by 20%, but the market expands times 2, the winner is Chick-fil-A. And the other thing that happens with Chick-fil-A is there's a dramatic difference between Chick-fil-A and a lot of fast food outlets related to service, right?
Sure. Yeah.
There's just like this thing, right? And once you experience the service at Chick-fil-A that, in my experience, I've probably been to 10 or 15 different outlets. It's just there. I remember back in the day as maybe 12 or 13 years ago. So my oldest son's 21 now. No, my fault. The year is 21. My oldest son just turned 20. And I remember being with him when he was 7 or 8 years old. We were at a mall. And I said, hey, Drew, I want to teach you something about life. Come here. And of course, he's 7, so he'll do that. And we're in this mall.
Life coach.
JLee, right. Christian Dunn, life coach. JLee, we're in this mall. And the other outlet will remain nameless, okay? But it's one you know. And I said, I want you can't hear the conversations that are going on. I just want you to watch that one, which was Chick-fil-A, and that one, which is this other one. Just want you to watch the facial expressions, and I'm going to come back to you in 5 minutes, and I want you to tell me what you've learned. And you know what's coming, right? Chick-fil-A, a lot of emotive expressions, a lot of service-oriented body language. The other one, I don't want to be here, blah, blah, blah. So for all those reasons, JLee, I think it's Chick-fil-A. What do you think?
Jay, have you tried Popeyes?
No, I haven't tried the Popeyes chicken sandwich yet. And I actually, one of the things I'm surprised by with the chicken sandwich wars is I actually have always liked the Wendy's spicy chicken sandwich, and I'm surprised it hasn't fared better. So that is one thing that's a surprise. By the way, Kris, I always thought that there was like this like stereotype of like dads being like the fun one. Like in my house, it's like dad's the fun one, and I'm the one who's like enforcing rules. But like you're having your kids observe like body language and behavior. So I'm
the Dunn household.
JLee,
it's a different dynamic.
JLee, how'd you like to be Drew Dunn? And I turn a seat around from the table, like in the food court. So now he's looking away from the table and looking through other tables to watch Chick-fil-A and a competitor for mall food court business. Welcome to the Dunn household.
That's the last time anyone ever asks you to take them to the mall. Maybe that was the brilliance of it all. But Kris, I am glad you brought that up with your son, as well as just in general, the level of service that you see at Chick-fil-A. Because by the way, I actually had a call today with the Chick-fil-A people, and we're comparing notes about like how we teach and drive service, among other things. And so setting standards in the world of service, and they look to us as a benchmark as well. So I was appreciative of that. The other thing that they are doing quite well, especially today in the age of COVID, they've actually done an amazing job of setting some standards around how to portray confidence and cleanliness in their stores. And so they've done some smart things with packaging and things of that sort, which I think is a step above the rest. But just separate from all that, Chick-fil-A, there's no competing. The sandwich is delicious. And they all have a lockdown on kids and nuggets. Like, children love Chick-fil-A nuggets, and it like that should be the next chicken nugget.
Like adults, people, like if you ever go to a party,
the nuggets are so good. The sauce is good.
If you do a catering party and like my nephew graduated in Texas and they decided to get Chick-fil-A as for catering, and they got the wraps and the sandwiches and the nuggets, and literally my I guess sister-in-law, got like 100 nuggets or whatever. She could have got 10,000 nuggets. They would have been gone. Right.
Yes.
Like they were the first thing gone. They were gone in like 15 minutes.
Well, no, I've done the nuggets as a platter for parties where it's like, I like had adult delicious catered food for like the adults. And then I got a few platters for the kids, and the adults were eating the kids' nuggets. And I'm like, you need to eat the fancy food and like leave the nuggets to the children. It's astounding.
JLee, what's the, you gave me a hard time for not being the fun dad, and just teaching my son's life lessons. But I know you, JLee. Tell us about the last time in the last year, and then we'll throw it back to Tim, where you gave your daughter or son a lesson that you want them to remember when they matriculate into the world of work. I know you've done it. Give me one.
I mean, I don't know about right now, my kids are young. We're working on, you need to put your clothes in the hamper. Like, put your clothes in. That's what I'm working on right now, Kris. Put your clothes in the hamper. I'm tired of there just being random socks and things all over the place. Put your clothes in the hamper. That's all. That's where we are.
Fair enough.
So one more announcement on the chicken sandwich wars. So McDonald's thought like, hey, we're going to come out and we're going to kick everybody's butt. We're going to take the war. And we're going to do that by reducing the price of our sandwich by 20 cents. And I'm like, somebody and whoever came up with that idea, this is where corporate like brainstorming goes really wrong, right? Because somebody should have been just punched in the face and hung publicly. That you think 20 cents makes a difference between me getting a Chick-fil-A sandwich and getting a McDonald's chicken sandwich? Like, you are insane. By the way, your guys' opinions are irrelevant because you haven't even tried the Popeyes chicken sandwich yet. Like, you have to try it.
Why would I? I'm loyal.
Don't need to. Don't need to.
By the way,
I agree with JLee.
It's good. It's really good. It's not as good as Chick-fil-A. Somebody might disagree. By the way, my number 3 sandwich is the classic Burger King long processed chicken sandwich.
No, the shape of it.
The
shape of it is weird.
They also put like 14 pounds of mayo on it. It's like the mayo's dripping on your face as you're eating it. Like that's just, classic.
Tim, so you were up in Popeyes. Have you ever gone into a Popeyes location to eat said chicken sandwich?
No, it just came out COVID, so it's always been drive-through so far because I live in a state that was locked down, unlike Alabama. So,
by the way, I don't like the smells that emanate from Popeyes. That's my other beef. Like when you are actually like driving or walking by a Popeyes, there's like the fried chicken smell is so strong.
Yeah,
and I can't. For me.
JLee, you don't live in the South, and I'm guessing you do not have this phenomenon. But we were on the road in the Southeast, and I went into a nondescript. So that smell that you mentioned, I went into a nondescript but branded convenience store. And they had they were had a food thing, et cetera, et cetera. Have you ever gone, JLee, into a convenience store that cooked fried chicken and came out with it like in your hair and on your clothes? You probably haven't, have you? But that's a very Southeastern type of thing where they're frying chicken in the convenience store. All you wanted was a Diet Mountain Dew. So you went in to get it. And as soon as you were 8 steps in, you're like, damn it. I'm going to smell like this fried chicken for at least 3 hours.
That's those are the types of places that also sell like gizzards, right? Like you can get Do
you know what a gizzard is, JLee?
I've never had one. I just know of them. And I think I know some dudes in my life who've eaten them before, but like, I don't think I've ever had a gizzard or
boiled peanuts would also be a thing that you might find as a tease, so to speak, near the checkout counter. I've never done any of that.
Yeah. All right. So the chicken sandwich wars are ongoing. Looks like Popeyes will settle in number 2. McDonald's really has to up their game to come close to Chick-fil-A or Popeyes at this point. And so, go out and try them. Like Popeyes has a solid entry to the game, as we like to call it. So let's talk about compensation, the wonderful, exciting, fast-moving world of compensation. There was an article out. We'll share it in the liner notes regarding a bunch of trends that we're seeing coming into 2021. And some of this is just like the pandemic era stuff, right? Like 55% of Americans had to take a pay cut during the pandemic, and only 46% of those have had their raises, kind of frozen or bonuses frozen. Many of those, the great majority, 50%, haven't seen the pay cuts return, which is another completely different issue. The other issue is like 50% of the people surveyed of employees actually believe they're going to make more money than they did in 2020. So now we're like, okay, we gave you a pay cut. They're expecting that pay cut plus some more, which might not happen. Mm. And then but of all of that, I also want to talk to you guys a little bit, and I'll open it up to you, Jay. I think we have this issue with remote work, hybrid work, and market compensation. We've seen a lot of companies come out and say, hey, I think maybe Twitter was one, don't quote me, maybe Facebook, that was like, hey, we don't care where you work. If you move out of San Francisco and we're paying you $200,000 and you move to BFE, we're going to keep paying you $200,000. Isn't this set up for like just a major disaster for corporations in their pay equity and compensation?
Major disaster, but I think I'm cynical because I wonder, are they not going to do anything in terms of adjusting the compensation? Because at a certain point, they're going to call everyone back. They're going to call you back, and you're going to need that, salary in order to live in that expensive market. And if you don't come back, then
no job.
Hot take. That's an interesting point, JLee. I can't say I disagree with that. If you don't make a move, and then please continue, JLee, if you don't make a move on geographic kind of slots for comp and a job, it leaves you with the capability to say everybody's coming back.
I just don't believe everyone's going to stay remote. Like, there is a primal need for people to be together. I think there are, plenty of studies that show and tell us the positives of people being together. I don't say it's going to be 100% of the time, but probably like hybrid and all of that. I don't know. Remote life's only going to last so long, folks.
Well, I think we have too many, JLee, too. And Katie, I'll throw this one to you because I think with this, I think a lot of us are falling to hey, it's probably going to end up in some kind of a hybrid thing, 2-3, 3-2, 4-1, whatever, some kind of hybrid work world. And I think organizations are looking at this going, hey, we're giving you extra flexibility. You should be happy. I think a lot of people are really happy with the extra flexibility, but it's just a matter of time until someone goes, hey, wait a minute. I got 3 days at home and you're not paying me anything for my home office. You may give me a computer, but I'm having to take space. I'm using my own Wi-Fi. I'm doing all this. There's no, when do we start having to pay incentives? And then, by the way, once you start that with one person, you're rolling that through ever. I mean, some people addressed this during the pandemic, but a lot didn't. A lot just where it's like an emergent kind of thing. You go home and all of a sudden you're like, wait a minute, what do we do in terms of compensation for individuals who are working part of their day not in the office?
I think most haven't addressed that. I think you could look at big brands who have addressed it, but I think the vast majority of working America has not addressed that. A couple things for you on that, Tim. Federal Reserve out of Atlanta, JLee, you'll be interested in this as well. So they took a look at total working hours that were outside the office or remote. And before the pandemic, the total number of working hours, and this was a pretty big study, different sizes of employers, different industries, different geographies, 5% of total hours were remote based. And you got to remember, this is blue collar, white collar, everything. 5% of total hours were remote based before the pandemic. It ballooned up to 26% during COVID of the total working hours in America across all industries and all jobs went remote. And then they asked people, where do you think it's going? And it landed at like the projections that companies gave is it'll settle in around 13%. So what that meant to me was if like the total working hours like multiplied by 5 to 6 times, but ultimately it's going to settle in only at about 2.5 times. So a lot of those folks are calling it back. And Tim, I think that there's opportunity everywhere, right? There's a recruiting opportunity. Mm-hmm. So whatever way that you think that you're not getting enough, whether that's days working from home, if people call you back to JLee's point, or compensation for tooling a home office, I think all of these, Tim, are talking points, and they're all like opportunities to try and land remote talent, either when people get called back or if there's a better deal out there for them, right?
Hey, it's Libby DeLucian. If you're sick of business advice that sounds cute, but doesn't actually move the needle forward, this one's for you. The Libby DeLucian podcast is where we go one layer deep. No gurus, no glitter, just straight up unfiltered talk about scaling a business, running a household, and holding on to your sanity in the middle of the chaos. If you're the bottleneck in your business or in your own life, I'll show you how to fix it. Simple, tactical, and one layer deep every time. Let's go. Visit libbyd.com and check out our podcast today.
Yeah, I agree. I think, like the big brands are always going to be able to find the talent they need where they need. I think it's all of us that don't have a unicorn brand that are now going, hey, you know what? Maybe I don't need all of my Java developers in Lansing, Michigan. I can have them work remote. We can still get the work done and actually pay a decent, wage for that work to get done. I think has been a big benefit of the pandemic and showing us that we can kind of do some of that stuff. So there's one thing out of this survey. So this is elementsgs.com, compensation trends for 2021. And this one, it just threw me back. So they claim only 83% of respondents claim that their spouses know how much they make. And I was like, no way. There's no way 83% of spouses don't know what their partner makes. That's insane. So I'll ask you too. JLee, I'll start with you. Bobby J, does he know what you're bringing home?
Oh yeah. I mean, I don't even know how much I bring. Like, I don't know. Like he's the one who will tell me like your paycheck looks less than it was the prior, or like, yeah. Like something is off, and I'm like, oh, okay, I'll go look at it. So I don't know how much he makes because I don't care. But
you fall though in the 83%. You don't know how much he makes.
But that's not because there's secrecy. It's only because like I just don't care. Like there's a rough ballpark of something, and
Well, the rough ballpark, KD.
Yeah.
Tim, read that stat. Tim, read that stat again for me.
83% of respondents claim that their spouses don't know how much they make.
Yeah, boy,
I wrote it wrong.
That seems high, right? I mean, you're still saying 83% claim that their spouses don't know how much they make. Correct. So the answer in our house is my spouse does the taxes, so she knows how much I make.
Yeah,
sure.
Yeah. I'm like JLee, Kimmy takes care of the bank account. So she's the one that tells me when something happened with the check. Like, hey, your check was off 14 cents last week. You're like, what? I'm like, I don't, okay, I'll call HR and figure it out. But yeah, I think we have major compensation issues, that I think we're going to see in 2021, 2022. I think we need to start addressing some of these things up front when it comes to hybrid work, remote work, and then all of those pay cuts that, your people took, or all the pay bonuses and raises that they didn't take to help the organization survive during the pandemic. All those bills are coming due, people. Make sure you have, instead of trying to put your head in the sand, make sure you talk about them. KD.
Hey, Tim, one other thing, I'll get your and JLee's take on this. So I was doing a speaking thing with a leadership group, and there was a business owner, probably, 60 or 70 employees. So decent sized business, that said that she sent a bunch of young people home during COVID for the reasons we all did, because they could do that, et cetera, et cetera. she's now like called them back in the office, and I wouldn't say she has a revolt on her hands, but she's feeling pressure to figure out what it's going to be moving forward. I got the sense that she didn't want to like give anything. And my advice to her, JLee, react to this. My advice to her was, if they were home for 6 or 7 months and you want to retain that staff, at the very least, you have to give them one work from home day, like a week, like at least one. If they were home for 6 or 7 months and now you're bringing them back in, you got to give something, preferably 2, but I'll take 1. But if you do nothing, like the next great opportunity they have where they can work from home, they're going to be gone. JLee, what's your take on that? What advice would you give her?
Oh, I mean, I think 1 is actually quite stingy. Like, I think she's got to give more than that. So that would be my advice, is like, not whole hog 100%, but like you got to give something. You got to give.
Yeah, my thing would be to ask about like performance and like revenue and all some of those stats to find out like, hey, did the company just survive during COVID and the pandemic? And you're saying, hey, we need to come back because we need to actually get back to like real work, real levels of performance, or right, were they performing and growing just fine or doing it the same like as pre-COVID? At that point, why would you have messed up the apple cart? But there's all that.
Hey, by the way, Tim, there's a lot of messaging inherent in what you just said, because let's say you're a founder. You're a founder and things didn't go well during the pandemic. And you bring everybody back and you say that it wasn't because of customers going away or clients going away. Your message, see, and this is like when you're used to having everybody butts in the seats and you're used to seeing everybody, it's easy to get caught in this trap. The messaging you just outlined is, hey, you know what? Like, none of you really worked hard enough when you were at home. It wasn't a client issue. Like, we had the clients, but you kids, like with your games and your Netflix, and the
HBO Max
Primer or whatever you kids are calling it, TikTok, it just didn't get done. So here we are. Great messaging, Tim. How'd you like how I laid that down, JLee?
Yeah.
Solid.
All right. Last topic. And we're going to talk about Prince Harry and Meghan Markle because Katie forced us to do this. Partly because when we think about the 9 Faces of HR, the great book by Kris Dunn, life coach, he has Oprah in the 9 box, right top corner. And as what would you call that persona, Katie? Oprah was? I mean, you didn't have actual Oprah, but originally the concept was Oprah.
Well, center top is the mentor.
Yeah. So Oprah was the one that did the big interview, bombshell interview with Prince Harry and Meghan Markle. Everybody's talking about it. We're going to take a different take.
Not everybody's talking about it, Tim, but
you're the only one. JLee and I are talking about it.
Chris also watched The Crown, so I'm confused. Like, you watched The Crown, yet you
I've got comments on this. Tim, please continue. Let's get through your intro. Sorry, we're blowing you up.
No, you're good. So I'm going to ask you guys some questions about not the interview, but about some things from the interview. What job? So now Prince Harry and Meghan are back in the America, or not back, but are in America. What job would Prince Harry really do in the U.S. besides influencer? Let's real talk. If he had to go get a job to pay the bills in America because Daddy cut him off, the Queen cut him off, what job is Prince Harry going to do well at?
So is this assuming he has zero money, or does he still have his?
We don't really know how much money he has, but I think it was like 10 to 50 million, something like that from his mom.
Money. So he's got some money. I think what he needs to do is he shall go the entrepreneurial route.
Buy a chain of Chick-fil-A's.
Well, that could be a good route to go. That is lucrative.
Not American enough, by the way, but continue.
But he's gotta go for the mental health angle. Like, how can he help others access mental health more easily? A tech startup. Yeah, some kind of I think he should go into that space. Part of the whole dialogue and the shock of the interview was, the lack of support for getting mental health, resources. And I feel like you got to play up on that angle. You got to use, you got to take that opportunity. Go for that.
Who are you hiring Prince Harry for?
So I think it's pretty clear, right? He's a host in a mid-tier steakhouse in the suburbs. That's kind of his like talent level, that he's going to greet some folks and he's going to make people feel comfortable. And he's okay.
What's mid-tier, like Outback Steakhouse or Ruth's Chris? Like,
I mean, it's trending toward Ruth's Chris. However you say that.
That's not a mid-tier steakhouse.
Fleming's.
Oh,
we're going like a Fleming's.
Okay.
But I mean, you asked the question. I'm giving you the answer. Now I'm going to address JLee's comments about my consumption of the Crown. Go ahead, Tim, and then I'm going to address the comments.
I would hire Prince Harry to be a recruiter because Americans are stupid idiots for the English voice. And he could talk anybody into a job. He'd be a tremendous recruiter for any company.
That's good. Well, and you know what? There's this one famous clip out there on the internet of when Prince Harry and Meghan Markle met the Disney CEO. No, why am I talking? Yes.
Bob Iger.
Yes, Bob and Beyonce. And there's this clip of Harry like plugging to Bob, like, hey, you should hire Meghan. She likes doing voiceover work. So like he's got the talent matching DNA in him, coupled with the British accent.
Kinetics HR.com is making some recruiting hires right now, right, KD?
Yeah, we have a screening process. We'd have to see the behavioral DNA before we would invest in that. Let me
talk about the Crown.
So JLee is like, well, Kris Dunn watches The Crown, and I don't know like why he's so high and mighty and uninterested in this royal family stuff. Let me give you an exact quote. So I made it through a season and a half of The Crown, and both of you are married. You know how this goes. Like, what are we streaming on a given evening where we have some time? There are the choices, right? Are we going back? Are we starting something new? Blah, blah, blah. So there's all that, just like you. So, you know, the choice came back to The Crown. And I think my quote, and this is how I feel about all the royal stuff. And I do believe that I represent part of America, like on this. And my quote, JLee, was, Angela, that's Mrs. Dunn. I said, Angela, this is a really good show, speaking of The Crown, but never has such good content been created and acted on events that were so inconsequential. Like there's nothing big there. Like it's like people like with small battles like around history, right? So it's like, oh, we get this little like thing inside the, you know, Buckingham, and meanwhile I'm looking at like the Suez crisis. And somehow they're trying to tie those two together. So what it did do is it made me go look up things like the Suez crisis. Really interesting. Crown, not so much. I mean, they're just not important people. I'm sorry. They're just not. Okay, I'm done.
So wait,
take me apart, JLee.
One of the things that came out of the interview was that Meghan went to HR.
Oh my God.
And didn't get help, which I think blows up this, like we have this concept as Americans of princes and princesses and kings and queens. And what we found out from the interview was all this shit is make believe. It's not real. It's just it's a company that was made up to entertain the rest of the, you know, the world. Right.
Do we, let me be productive with this conversation. So here's the other area of where Harry actually has opportunity to get a job and like go the entrepreneurial route. With Meghan having experienced this thing of not getting proper help from HR, like maybe that's an angle. Maybe he should start like some kind of HR related business.
You know, Bamboo HR is looking for project leaders.
No, I think that was.
Hey, by the way, like JLee, 20 seconds or less, not because you're long-winded, but just because I don't need any more than this. Why did Harry and Meghan leave the royal family? I don't know. I seriously don't know. Tell me why they left.
They felt that they left because they did not receive the proper support that Meghan and Harry needed to be, active and working members of the royal family. They wanted to still have a role, but the right role wasn't offered for them, and they weren't receiving the right support for, mental health, security. Maybe there was some racism sprinkled in there as well. So.
Yeah, suicidal thoughts because of lack of. There's a little gamemanship, Katie, that happens with the tabloids that, some of the royals get really, really great treatment. And then some, like Meghan, were being treated like a piece of garbage. And I think and again, behind the scenes, it was the firm, the royals that were actually playing that, right?
Well, but by the way, go ahead, JLee.
Well, so the other 20-second piece of this is also from a history perspective, a lot of people, and I think Harry said this himself as well. Harry, we talk about he's first name basis. His Royal Highness Harry also there were flavors of he didn't want to see history repeat itself with what happened to his mother, and there were a lot of things around similarities around how Meghan was being treated compared to how Diana was treated. And so he didn't want to see things repeat itself. And that was
So I got another hot take for you. Okay. Meghan is the most talented one out of all those people. She had her own career
for sure
before she did this. Right. So I might listen to Meghan talk about life doing that. I would say that, hey, that was a choice for you to go into what is basically, gotta be careful here, right? Don't get fired, Katie. Don't get fired. Don't get fired. I mean, you just went into kind of an acting troupe. And I know you were an actor and you were actress and you were great on Suits and you're super talented. She's the most talented person on that thing. I mean, I don't know. We'll see you at Fleming's.
My biggest takeaway of all of that was Harry never got help that he needed after his mom died. And that really showed up in all of his fears and stresses and anxieties and stuff, which led to all this other stuff, right? If they ever would have helped him to begin with, probably none of this would have gotten to this far. All right. I'm going to get us out of here on one thing. I have to thank JLee. So you guys know both Jay and I are Peloton riders. I had my century ride, my 100 ride. Now, there's a behind the scenes story that even Jay doesn't know. So she knew I was going to ride. She said, I'm going to come on the ride with me. It was a live ride with my favorite instructor, Cody. And I didn't get a shout out. By the way, Jay, so there were some things I had gotten a video from Cody that I sent to you guys.
Automated.
And automated, but still a lot of people didn't get that video. I got the video.
I didn't get that video.
I also sent him a DM on Instagram, told him I'm going to have, a ride, blah, blah, blah. I can't wait. First time, live ride. So I get done with the ride and I was kind of depressed. I didn't get the shout out from Cody, right? So I go and look at my ride number. It's 103. Now, Jay, so what happened was Cameron, my son, got into my account that day without knowing and made 2 rides and rode my 100 ride.
Oh my gosh.
That's tough.
And I wanted to kill him. The other thing is, so Katie, you'll love this. So I'm riding and I'm on the screen, I can push JLee and it brings up her stats. And I'm fuck, she's kicking my ass. She's riding hard. She's riding hard. So I'm okay, now I got to keep up with her. I end up getting a personal record that day and we tied. And that was a personal record for me. She is the real deal on the Peloton.
No, you know what? I hate you. So 2 things. One is I hate you because I was tracking you and I'm am I going to beat him? Let's see. And so I started riding harder. And at the end, I was pedaling so hard to try to beat you. And then I saw your number ticking up. And I think at the end, you were trying to tick your number up. And then we just tied. And and then I also came upstairs after that. And my husband was you're trying to beat a guy in his 50s. What's wrong with you? Just don't try to be so competitive. But then here's the funny thing you missed, Kris, at the beginning of the ride. I got in there and I'm I'm going to high five Tim. Yeah. And then he pressed the button for video chat.
By the way, I didn't even know you could do that.
Hold on. JLee, what happened when he pushed the the button for video chat? Were you horrified?
She texted me and she goes, "Oh hell no! Oh hell no!"
I'm not trying to look at your face while we both ride our Pelotons. I had to promptly text him on the side to say that's a hard pass on video chatting while we Peloton. Like that's not happening today.
But by the way, the only reason she had said high five and I pushed her thing and it said, "Oh, you can video chat." And I'm like, and I just touched it without thinking because I've never even saw that before. I had no idea you could actually video chat with somebody. And then as soon as she said that, she's like a hard pass, and I was like, "Yeah, that's super creepy, right? Yeah. People can actually like video chat each other while they're riding." Because I'm like a mess. I'm fully sweat like crazy.
That's where technology like features tell us that something is okay, and when we do it, there's that delayed, like, oh, that was incredibly awkward.
Yeah.
And I should never do that again.
But anyways, so JLee kicked my butt, but it led me to a PR on my 100th ride. And so, hey, I'm thankful for that.
Did Cam get a shout out or whatever the hell it was?
He was under my account. He didn't do a live ride. He was doing like an on-demand ride. So he basically wasted my thing. And then he's like, well, it's not like, you could still do it at 200, 300, 400. Like people are on there. They're like, hey, shout out to Jimmy at 4,000 rides. I got 100, it's like, oh, geez.
You should have told Cam, you don't know how much time I have. So I was really counting on that 100.
I know.
Ride.
Like JLee just about put me in cardiac arrest. I'm like trying to get to 372 or whatever the heck we were at.
Awesome.
All right, everybody. That's what the show we got for you today. Connect with JLee and I on Peloton, and we will definitely not FaceTime you on Peloton. For Kris Dunn and Jessica Lee, I'm Tim Sackett. HR Famous. It's another one in the books. We are out.